How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go on and attempt this mission, Gone with the Wind, where you got to go and rescue a load of bricks. Yeah, I've got me Dolphin and double loafs, of course, because why wouldn't I? Yeah, this is the route you've got to take. Well, that's what I'm doing. Going around there, down the hill, cutting across the water, and then as you can see here, there's 1 bricks, 2 bricks, 3 bricks, 4 bricks, and 5 bricks. Surprised there isn't Stanley Kubrick's. Yeah, so, and then I've got to take them to that top bit up there. And yeah, I've not done this mission before, I've not scouted it or anything like that, so I don't really know what's going on. As for this, I mean, I could just sound like a heroin addict trying to explain why heroin is actually good for him. Or we could just admit that I'm taking some goddamn horses with me. But no, actually, in all jokes aside, I'm taking OG Loaf, who's on the trailer, because, you know, he's like Captain Loaf, he's keeping an eye on the situation. The purple Loaf, who's on my roof, there was a potential for some zombie dolphin action to be going on. I might have had to have zombied my dolphin. It sounds like a euphemism. You ask your missus if she wants to zombie the dolphin, and yeah, you might get slapped. But it was a potential possibility, so I needed a loaf on the roof. However, well, and actually, before I get to that bit, I wasn't too sure how I was going to do with fuel, because there appears to be a lot of water situations to go through, and I don't know if I can cut through them, whatever, I might double back on myself, etc. Yeah, the Dolphin eats fuel pretty quick. I've obviously got 200 spare litres with OG Loaf on the back, but I wasn't sure if I'd need even more fuel, so I kind of wanted to bring 2 loaves anyway, just to be safe. So yeah, it did actually have dual purpose and meaning, and they were part of the plan on this one. However, the purple loaf, I was kind of willing, I was going to use his fuel first, and then depending on how kind of wobbly the situation gets, if there's a lot of tipping going on, I would have just disconnected him. I explained this to him beforehand that he'll, yeah, I might have to cut him loose, but again, he's goddamn professional, so he'll be alright. But we might not need to, who knows? Stay tuned to find out. Looking good so far. Gets a bit sketchy around there with the old the tipping. And yeah, I mean, this mission, was it Gone with the Wind, so I assume there's talk of a hurricane on this map, and as we all know, when a hurricane appears, one of the first things that start taking flight are, of course, pallets of bricks, so that's how they got scattered all over the map. To be fair, actually, before I mock the aerodynamics of pallets of bricks, I believe I have flown a pallet of bricks like a kite in this game before, so I'm not really one to talk. I take it back. They actually fly pretty well. So when we got to this point, as you can see, I can cut over there and go for those bricks, but I wanted to do the loop round the other way. That'll become apparent as to why later, but I wasn't sure. I was eyeballing it, I was having a look. I mean, I can see how I can get those bricks, but I don't know if I can drive across there or if there's going to be like underwater bridges. It looks from a few little specks of rocks in the water there that there might be a rock bridge. Some kind of bridge there, but then these last ones, or potentially the first ones that I was eyeballing out, I really can't see a good way to them. I know I can go over the brow of that hill, but I have actually been over there before, not to go for the bricks. It was when I was, well, oh yeah, there was an upgrade at the top of, like, basically where I got to drop these bricks off, so I've kind of seen it on the way past, and yeah, there's not a very good way to the bricks from this direction anyway, and even if I did somehow get it, and I'd have to drive against the current in probably pretty deep water. And yeah, as I said, I preferably wanted to do a loop around the map. So we'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, I decided to just go, yeah, under here, go through this little cut through, under the little wooden bridge at the top that I built, and we'll try and collect them this way. And yeah, I mean, I've said it already, I'm bringing the Dolphin. The reason I brought the Dolphin, though, was I wasn't sure how much kind of water things would be going on, and I know that the Dolphin is pretty good in water. To be honest, it's basically a submarine truck. It's got the snorkel sticking out the roof. It's pretty good at going deep, that's what she said. And as well, with a loaf on top of it is, like, again, potential zombie loaf, zombie dolphin situation going on. It'd yeah, work out pretty well. I mean, I had other choices. There was a Tiger, but I used the Tiger the other day or week for collecting all those barrels. And the Tiger snorkel, it nearly goes to the roof, but not completely. But the Tiger isn't actually very good in deep water. I believe it starts to float or near enough, so it takes like all its weight off the wheels, whereas from many hours of experience, the Dolphin is a strong swimmer. So yeah, getting these first bricks was not too bad. I also brought the step deck. I can't remember if I just said it, but again, it's a little bit potentially gets caught less and everything. I could have brought the sideboard semi-trailer because there's 5 lots of bricks to get, so there was like a ramped flatbed was out of the question. Good, because I don't like that anyway. Yeah, but of course I needed to bring OG Lo4f with me, so I needed like the little step deck section. And funnily enough, when I was doing this with the oil barrels the other week with the Taiga, obviously the Taiga's got a shorter wheelbase, so the trailer was kind of nearer to it. The reach on this crane was just not quite. I needed another inch or two. Again, that's definitely what she said. Well, not to me, of course. She said, "Can you remove some?" Yeah, so I just had to do a bit of jigging around here, but we're all good. I get more disappointed with these little cranes every time I use them, to be honest. That one, well, I don't know if it's got shorter, but it seemed a little bit on the short side. But yeah, they're just weaker as well. Right at the start of the game, you could obviously lift cargo like it was nothing. You could lift loafs and all sorts pretty well as well. I even lifted a few trucks at the beginning. Then they obviously nerfed the cranes a little while back, and they've been pretty crap ever since. When I was struggling to lift some of these bricks today, that's how ridiculously bad the cranes have got. So I was trying to be cheeky and just zip up the shoreline to those next set of bricks that you can see, but it appears the game devs had already had that in mind. So in front of me is kind of a load of bricks sticking out into the water. I'd have to drive around them, but I remember from doing, what was the mission called, on Drummond Island, where I took Dolphin and Lo4f, and I had to drive against the current, and it didn't go well. And they've purposely put those rocks sticking in the water, so you'd have to go round into the deep water to get past them, and I can guarantee, without even trying it, that the current would just stop me in my tracks, and that'd be the end of it. So in the end, I yeah, took the more sensible option, stuck her in reverse. These trailers are a pleasure to reverse compared to anything with a dolly axle. And I'll happily admit, I'm yeah, just not very good at reversing things. These I'm actually not too bad at reversing this sort of stuff, but I'm not by any means going to make out like I'm good at reversing stuff in this game. I'm horrific. Like, one of the biggest reasons I wouldn't want to be a lorry driver in real life is because the thought of having to reverse some awkward trailer in some awkward situation would just stress me out. Wouldn't be my idea of a fun job. If there was a job where I could just drive a truck forwards for ages and never ever have to do some dodgy reverse parking with the trailer, then happy days. Sign me up. Yeah, so I'm going the long way round. I'm going to take this rock bridge over here and kind of, hopefully, again, I've not scouted anywhere down towards these second lot of bricks by this point, so I had no idea what I was in for, but you just got to go for it, get stuck in, see what happens, and adjust accordingly. Right now, honestly, I was like, what the hell is my step deck caught or dragging? I've never really had that happen before with the Dolphin. Oh, well, apologies, because there was a big glitch, but can you see that, like, almost brick-coloured rock next to my brick? There was a gigantic meaty rock. A super meaty rock that was wedged under my Dolphin that was causing the trouble. Like, yeah, I thought it was the step deck, which I was like, that's weird. I brought the step deck specifically to avoid that, but it wasn't. So, its reputation has been saved. Funnily enough, as I was driving around here, I could see in the distance, well, not much distance, a scout fuel trailer that I released into the wild a little while ago. That was when I was originally scouting the map with Dolphin and Lo4f, probably. And yeah, I left that there, you see? Planning for the future. The Lo4f knew, even back then, that one day I would have to collect these bricks. So he left a little stash of fuel. I think it had about 98 fuel left. There's enough to juice me up for now. And I know I've got my Lo4fs on me, and to be fair, knowing what I know now, the fuel in the Lo4fs would have been enough. But I'm not going to say no to free fuel that a Lo4f specifically planted there for me ages ago. Oh yeah, no, we're still on one set of bricks. I was just about to say, well, that's 2 lots of bricks down, but it's not. Again, with the Dolphin, doesn't feel like the old classic Dolphin. I mean, it's still a beast, don't get me wrong, because everything seems to have been affected equally, whether it's because of that physics update or they've just broke the gearboxes somehow or purposely adjusted them. Everything's relative, so it's like the Dolphin is still way at the top of the list of trucks along with stuff like the Taiga and that, but they still just don't feel like the classic trucks. And it's weird with the game, like, you got to be pretty careful with balancing, I would say, with games, because once you release a game and people just get used to like the status quo of the game, and then you start adjusting things, particularly if you're adjusting them the wrong way and you're making like winches weaker and all that, it's kind of like, give us a hard mode or something if you want to implement those kind of things. But when you just slowly keep tweaking and wrecking the background mechanics of the game, it just doesn't come off as a good feeling kind of thing. Like I said, if they were slowly getting stronger and that behind the scenes, it'd be like, oh well, yeah, cool. But we've already got used to how everything works, and then when they slightly reduce it, as I said, it was well, I used to do loads of rescues. Like, I very rarely recovered to the garage. Basically like a self-imposed hard mode. But yeah, when they nerfed like the cranes and the winches, it just wasn't the same. And I started, in many cases, just giving up on even trying. I mean, the loaf is like the only thing I still use to rescue stuff now, because it's a goddamn horse of a vehicle. And he always manages that. I have to say as well, at the end of this video, the loaf does perform a little quick rescue, and well, behold the magic of the loaf, is all I can say for what's coming. I'm going to see if I could reach the, at least it's got like a circle around the crane now, so I can actually see what I can and can't reach. And I can't reach it, because the crane is tiny. Drove forward a bit though, and thankfully it was just within the circle. Again, that little yellow box above it really doesn't help when it blocks, like, whether you know if you're winching to it or not. Again though, that is one big improvement they have done recently that I don't think I've specifically pointed out and mentioned. But yeah, the fact that you can change like your crane point now is a big plus. I said it a while back, like they needed to add that, because trying to just get your crane to hover above the right one, to, you know, that's the only way you used to be able to do it. It was a bit of a pain. It's so I do appreciate them sorting that out. That is actually something good that they fixed and not just left as it is. So I appreciate it. It's worth pointing out when they actually do stuff like that. Again, the crane, it just can't quite handle it, but we can seesaw it over the back of the loaf. It's hanging on there, but we'll see. Will it pack or not? Yes. Dolphin knows what he's doing. Right. Next I was looking those bricks. You can sort of see there's like a path to kind of cut those bricks out. I could almost take a narrow route, or obviously I've got to go wide. Got to go wide for them bricks. It's that last one that's making me scratch my head, because I know those two rocks in like the middle of the water there are just massive rocks that ain't really going to be of much use. But like I said, I already, just from looking on the map, I had a gut feeling of things that might have to happen, which is genuinely why the purple loaf is on the Dolphin. Like I said, normally, because I can fit OG loaf on the step deck, I would have just took them like that. It was a little bit risky having the purple loaf on the top, because I don't actually think it increases the tipping that bad, to be honest, but I'd say it does a bit, but not as much as you'd think, because the loaf's weight is incredibly low down anyway. It's like, it's not increased the weight as tall as the loaf is above the Dolphin. If you imagine like where the loaf's tyres are, that's where basically most of the loaf's weight is, so it's just like putting a heavy slab on top of the Dolphin, but not yeah, not all the way. So yeah, I could have gone left there and kind of cut the bricks out. I was just looking, do I go left and loop back round, but I was eyeballing this little gap in the trees and I was like, nah, laziness wins. The shortest route possible is the route for me, and I'm going for it. So again, the Dolphin is pretty good at not tipping anyway, so there's no major hassle. But certainly worth bringing along. So these ones are pretty easy, and thankfully there is like another little rock bridge. Again, apologies, there's a few glitches going on, I just can't stop them. They seem to be punishing me pretty bad for it recently, but fortunately it's kind of glitching out bits that don't really matter. So we'll let it off. Crane was just about long enough that time because the trailer's on an angle. So 3 down, 2 to go, and like I said, the next one's, that looks alright. I can clearly see I can drive down that island and get them. So where to go from there is the question. So there's tyre tracks in the mud going down here, so I was like, well, that's potentially a good start. That means there is actually, like, the game intended for traffic to go down it, but then it cuts off there, so I was like, oh, am I going to have to double back on myself and kind of cut over that way? I wasn't too sure. Obviously, what I'd like to do is just kind of drive straight at the bricks. As the, like, yeah, from here, I'd like to just drive at them. Would be my preferred method. And now I was curious, to be honest, while I was like packing these bricks anyway, and this kind of presented the situation to try it out. I can't quite reach the back to get the bricks behind the loaf, but as the loaf is sat on the step deck, I then thought, I wasn't sure, oh there you go, thankfully it glitched, but not the bit I needed. I put the bricks on top of the loaf to see if when I click unpack and pack, if it just jumped them off the loaf, but because they're not touching the trailer, it wouldn't let it happen. So, but it's easily solved. I just got the crane, kind of lowered it a little bit, poked them off the back, and now it should. Now it's touching like all the bricks that's on the trailer. Yeah, all good. So at this point, a bit of editing, only because I was basically waiting for the saving cogs to appear on the game. So as you can see, I'm eyeballing going forwards. I could either drive round here, but I still don't know how to get to there. That little path I just used with the marker, I don't think I can do. And yeah, it's around now where I was just waiting for the saving cogs, because like I said, I had an idea, and if it went wrong I was just going to save the footage and reload. Then I noticed a path going off there, so again, that's probably hinting that I should go that way. And I'll be honest, I did think about it for a little bit. It did cross my mind. The sensible option did occur to me, and then the saving cogs appeared, and all that went out the window, and I dropped the hammer. So yeah, as you can see, there's kind of like, I don't know, it's just not very deep here, so I can drive along here, but in front of me it gets deep all over the place. There's not really left, right, otherwise I can't really go anywhere that I can see anyway. It starts dropping off about now, and this is exactly why I brought the purple loaf as a potential yeah, like zombie dolphin thing, because I thought if the dolphin stalls now, the reason, by the way, why I wanted to loop around and get the bricks this way instead of the other way is because now I'm going with the current of the river. If I got those bricks first, there's no way I'd be able to drive the opposite to the way I'm going now. Yeah, it kept getting deeper, that's what she said, and eventually the dolphin stalled, which was good, to be honest, because I was literally just about to go down into the menu and stop the engine, because again, because I'm going with the current, I don't actually need to drive the dolphin at the minute. And really, looking back, I should have done it earlier. I didn't even need to take that much damage on the dolphin's engine. I could have just, as soon as I was in the water, turned the engine off and floated my way down here. And as you can see, once we got out the other side, snorkel's out the water, I can fire at the dolphin without taking any damage. Current is basically pushing me at this point. I think I stuck my handbrake on a minute ago and it's still giving me a good old nudge. And now I can unpack the loafs, use them to repair the dolphin. So again, regardless of zombie dolphin and all that, if I didn't have a loaf with me now, I'd be pretty much screwed, because the engine was pretty heavily damaged and it was making the dolphin stall quite a lot. I have no idea what the hell that was about. It just made me take a big fat hit of damage. The trailer is starting to spin around in the current. Again, the currents in this game have got some, yeah, they're pretty strong. I don't necessarily mind. And to be honest, at this point, I could have just... I've just used the repair points and all that. I could have just refueled the dolphin and dropped this loaf off here, but if I'm honest, we've came this far. I'm literally about to get the last set of bricks. Again, I don't know why I took a big hit of damage, but yeah, he's coming with us. He's earned it. And that loaf might get slightly in the way of the crane, but it's a small price to pay. Well, I would say the crane gets in the way of the loaf. Again with another glitch, but at least that one was fairly convenient. Yeah, because the current rotated very kindly, the trailer around for me, I was able to reach it anyway. Get them packed. And that is 5 out of 5 bricks. Now we're going to work out how to get to the top of that big island like I'm looking at now. And I'm assuming maybe in theory the game was hoping I would drive out of here, maybe go past the garage, go all the long way around over the bridge and all that. As you can see, I just drew a line like as quickly as I can get there because that's what I fancied attempting. And it's pretty steep. I drove up here once before, might have been in a loaf. It's when I went to go and get the upgrade anyway. But there were some trees to help winch to and stuff. Yeah, never tried it with a Dolphin, a fully loaded trailer, and 2 loafs. We're about to find out. Well, there's a shallow bit here, so it's practically inviting me to try it. Again, apologies for the glitches. I really don't know why they've gone mad on glitches recently. I don't know if they've I've had like a software update that's made it start going mental or what. I assume if I ever do get a PC, and you have what are they called? Is it Elgato or something? Something that just records my TV, it'd be nice, and then I just wouldn't get any glitches. Yeah, as you can see, there is a few winch points. There's a dead tree sat there, so I'm going for that one. Something feels a little bit hooked and stuck. Right now I was thinking, well, I hope this way is possible, because I'm going to have not the most fun time trying to reverse out of here now and get out of this situation. Kind of like I'm in. Of course that's what she said. Yeah, I've got to go for it now. And would I recommend this way? Yeah, probably, to be honest. I mean, why not? It's the quickest way. Lo4f deliveries. He knows them secrets. Dolphin was fighting a little bit. By the way, it might have glitched or I edited it out, I can't remember, but I did stick a bit more fuel in the Dolphin at some point from one of the loafs, just because what I didn't want to do was yeah, run out of fuel about now. Because then to get more fuel out of the loafs, I have to unpack them to access the roof rack, and if I unpack them now, they're going to go flying. So thankfully there is a couple of trees. This tree, even for a small one, it's anchored in there pretty well, which is good. I don't know why, I was trying to reach there was a tree even further, but for whatever reason it didn't let me. Thankfully, because the trailer's kind of now level with me, it must be butting into that tree that was down at the bottom that I was kind of scraping past, so it's pretty much held me here. I think the Dolphin, like, it might have slid back slowly, but I think between its handbrake and everything it would have stayed there pretty well. So stuck a winch from the middle of the Dolphin now to that tree, because then that'll get my nose higher up. Because all I want to do is reach then, yeah, that dead tree, or preferably that one right in front of me, the light green one. Give it a little second, see if it can get up there under its own power, but I think it's just wheels spinning at this point. Yeah, we're able to reach that tree though. Give it some welly. Now, I'm not entirely sure what I'm stuck on. I believe it might be like a tree carcass or something, because it wasn't stuck as in like ran out of power stuck, it was just absolutely solid, like I'm caught on something. Unless maybe it is the edge of the step deck, but I don't know. But again, I think I just did the winch from like, yeah, the middle of the truck to that tree, just so it'd at least get me a little bit higher. For whatever that's what made me think it was maybe a tree carcass, because then it just stopped being hooked. We made it over, and we got here. And sadly, there is a little glitch here, but as I was trying to give it those bricks, it froze on like the last brick, so I double tapped the X like with impatience, and then yeah, I skipped straight past the completing the mission. And this, by the way, is just a bit of a Lo4f rescue. I was driving along. I had to restage this bit, by the way, because I lost this bit of footage. But I was driving along in my ANK, and then, oh no, I crashed again, based on a true story. But I had to recreate the situation a little bit there, hence the winch to help me. So me loaf, I mean, look at him, it's his day off, he's not even got his roof rack on, he was just chilling, driving around. He heard the ANK screaming for help, he's having a look, he did his horn, sent out the Lo4f SOS signal to a loaf that was all ready, and I mean, look at this, he's going in, boys. It's getting out of hand now, just what a goddamn horse of a vehicle he is, really. He just went in Spider-Man style. He came in like a rescue horse and saved the day. Clambering up the rocks for his little photo shoot finish. I mean, you hate his fuel tank, but these things happen. He's got his own spares and repairs, so he's a beast. He's ready to carry on. That was such a mighty rescue. I think this time he might have actually earned permission to ask for a like on that one, just for that rescue alone. I mean, let's have a look at it again. He knows what he's doing. I needed the autonomous winch, just in case. Engine stalled, it's all good. Bam! Slaps it on its wheels, even lands on his own wheels, and he's good to go. Victory horn is well earned on that one. But yeah, I was pretty happy with that. We also delivered some bricks. Things went pretty well. That's about it for today, though. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Of course, get yourself a loaf. And yeah, I'll be back soon.